Hi, welcome to this workshop, Social Anxiety, the Tame. I'm Anna Nance. I'm a certified herbalist, energy worker, and artist. And I have developed some insight into social anxiety and kind of ways to work with it to make it a quieter voice instead of an overwhelming reality. So in this workshop, we're going to just talk about some places that social anxiety comes from and some ways to work with it in a somatic, body-focused way. And then at the end, I will show you a practice that I use that I find very effective to work with social anxiety and to tame it into a quiet friend instead of a monster. So thanks for being here. To start off, we're going to jump right in. We got to talk about boundaries. Boundaries is a huge concept kind of under this umbrella word. And it is so much more than, I think a lot of times when people think of boundaries, they think of being able to understand and articulate your boundaries to others, which is important, but there's so much happening on an energetic level that is happening no matter what you're speaking or aware of. And there's more you can do. You don't have to be fully aware of your boundaries to work with your boundaries. So the reason this is so important is because if you do not have strong boundaries, social anxiety could be your body's way of protecting you, because if you don't have boundaries, you actually aren't safe going into a social situation. And it can be in an extreme way, like you could be talked into getting in a car with a drunk driver and then getting in an accident or something, or just in a smaller way of being cornered by a friend who wants to just talk about the problems all night when you would actually rather be dancing, or being talked into staying out way later than you want to, or even being, deciding not to drink when you want to drink or imbibe or have fun because there's a coworker there and you feel judged, So in all these little ways, or being talked into volunteering the next day at a thing that you didn't want to do. There's so many ways. I think of like a social situation as like a web of when I was a kid. I would always love making these webs out of yarn in my room where I would string them up between like the bedpost and the ceiling and create this like crazy yarn web. That's kind of what every social situation is. There's so much going on the energetic level. And I think a lot of times we try to talk ourselves down into like, this is just a birthday party. Why do I feel anxious? Or why this is no big deal. But if you're walking into a room with 40 people, like that is a deep web of energetic soul contracts and boundaries and desires. And, if you're a sensitive person, you're going to feel that. So just trying to tell yourself it's not a big deal, I don't think really it's helpful, because it kind of is a big deal. There's just so much going on. So if you're going into this web and you have your body knows that you don't have strong boundaries, you can be taken on all these tangents and taken totally away from what you desire, what you're there to do. Maybe there's someone there you really do want to talk to, but you're stuck talking to someone else all night because you feel bad saying you gotta go, So social anxiety could very well just be this protective measure where your body is like, she's going into this birthday party and we don't feel safe because we don't know what she's going to get into. So working with boundaries and being in a really strong place of trust with your body, I think is kind of the number one thing to start with social anxiety, because I do think it is a protective measure, and it's not just trying to tell yourself you should not be feeling this way. It's like your body is saying, hey, you need to wake up and we need to be prepared to go into this web. So if you feel like you're a person that needs to work on their boundaries or could use some work with boundary work, I think the best place to start is just to declare that intention that you are wanting to work on your boundaries this season or this year, or, you know, just kind of stating that out loud or write it down. I think that because it's such an energetic thing and such a huge thing, there's so many forces involved. Just stating it kind of lets everyone know, okay, we're working on this. We do want to improve our boundaries. We do understand this more. And I think you will be led on the journey you need to. You'll find the teachers you need, the allies you need to kind of just work on this yourself. A really good plant ally for working with boundaries is rose thorn essence. The rose is, many believe, the flower of the rose is the highest vibrational plant of the entire plant kingdom. And the reason it can hold this vibration is because it has its thorns, it has its protective measure, it has its boundary. And that, you know, if you've ever worked with rose, if you've ever tended a rose bush, you know that you can't just dive in and do whatever you want. You really have to connect and move slowly and with respect and be really tuned in, or you're gonna get sliced and diced, because rose thorns are no joke. So tapping into this plant ally, this vibration of holding this boundary so that you can express this high vibration. If you don't have boundaries, your body can't express its highest vibration because it's just not safe. It's not safe. There's not a space for it carved out to be able to express. So if you would like to work with this medicine, I do sell a boundary formula in my web store. You can check it out there. Also, other plant allies are poison ivy essence is huge, walnut hull essence, and also yarrow in essence or just plain medicine. Yarrow is a super boundary holder. So if you're called to one of those plant allies, I think working with a plant ally for something like this, like an emotional, spiritual, transformative initiative you're trying to do, that's like what plants are so good at. And just to work with a plant ally and to state like, hey, I'm trying to do this and I need your support, I think they really help like supercharge and move things through quickly. So that's a place to start. So moving from boundaries, the next issue is, it's not an issue, but you know, topic is the nervous system. So another way that your body could be protecting you by throwing out social anxiety is that your nervous system is overtaxed. And most social situations, kind of every social situation, is a high stimulus environment. Even if it's just a couple friends, if you're talking, connecting, like that's stimulus, especially if you're in a loud bar with loud music and lights and lots of different people having loud conversation. That's just a really high stimulus. And if you've been at work all day or doing something that's also high stimulus all day, your body might need a break. It might be like, don't take us there. We are like, our nervous system is so overtaxed. So that's another way your body could be putting out social anxiety, when it's really just like, we need just a beat. We need a quiet, or maybe we need to not go to this thing, but maybe we do, but we just need to tune in and take a quiet moment to recalibrate before we're just like full stimulus again. So something I find really helpful is before a big social event or any sort of high stimulus event you're going to take a sensory deprivation nap, or just, you don't have to sleep, but you just kind of go into a sensory deprivation environment, which is you turn out all the lights, you close the blinds, you don't have any music on, any light, just you keep it quiet, you lay down and you just decompress, like fully. Every single sensory input is as quiet as can be. And I like to also tell them, like release some of that built up energy release conversations through the day. You know how you just kind of run through what you've been through in the day. Just kind of let that flow out of you and kind of recharge your nervous system to be at a place where it is nourished and it's ready for more stimulus. Yeah. So I find that just 10 minutes, if I can just do a little sensory deprivation moment for 10 minutes, it can completely recharge me to be able to go do something. And I always put that in if I have something in the evening, or if I've had like a long day and then something after, 2 things, you know, I'll do it in my car between, if I have like 2 coffee meetings or something. It's like I need that beat in the middle to just, in my car, I'll just put something over my eyes, lay my seat down, and just take 10 minutes to decompress and recharge, and then go into the next stimulative environment. Some herbal allies for the nervous system are, I mean, all the nervines, lemon balm, verbena, I'm not thinking of them. Maybe we don't need them. Okay, so if we got our boundaries in check, we got our nervous system is online, ready to rumble. I think the final piece is to check in on your inherent self-worth. Because if you don't have inherent self-worth, you're not going to feel good going to any social situation. You know, it's like when you start thinking about, well, okay, what do I have to offer? Like, do I have a cool job? Do I have something interesting to talk about? Like, all that stuff is just bullshit from this culture that, I mean, we live in a culture that really does not think people have inherent self-worth, which is really detrimental and sad. So I think unless you're really raised in like an incredibly supportive, holistic environment, you probably have gotten the message that your worth is determined by what you do, how nice you are, how good looking you are, if you've done something cool, if you're charismatic or interesting, kind of all these things. But the truth is everyone has self-worth or inherent worth, inherent value. So that's something that if you don't feel that, if you kind of feel like going into a social situation, you're kind of lacking, or you feel like you need to like come up with something cool to be, that's kind of a red flag that you're missing that piece of just feeling and knowing your inherent self-worth. And it's a good idea to work on that, because I think that's a huge problem in our culture as it is, that a lot of people don't feel worthy, and everyone's kind of, you know, rat racing, trying to collect resources and cool points to like have worth. And what sucks is once you get there, you realize like that stuff doesn't change your value. It really is something you have to do from the inside, and it doesn't matter what's going on the outside. You can harness that on the inside. So if that sounds like you, if you're like, yeah, I don't feel great about where I'm at or who I am or how I appear, you know, all that. That's another thing, to just make that an intention that you're going to understand and embrace your self-worth, and call in, you know, whatever teachers and paths you need to walk that path. But just, if you can agree with the statement that you do have inherent self-worth, also that you are beautiful. All people are beautiful. And that's another thing that's really hard, I think, especially for women in our culture, that we're really taught from a young age that our value is based on our appearance. And the truth is, literally everyone is beautiful in the same way that all flowers are beautiful. They're just different. Like, you wouldn't see any flower and be like, that's kind of an ugly flower. It's really true with all people. We're just socialized to think like some ways of looking are ugly or grotesque. It's like, it's not true. Everyone is beautiful. I mean, obviously, you know, people can be really, in a dark spiral, and you can see that on the outside. But people that are true to themselves and just like living life are really beautiful. So you're beautiful, you're fascinating. That's another thing. I think this was a Starhawk quote, that all people are born totally fascinating and interesting. It's the culture that makes them boring. So if you feel boring, or you feel like, I'm not that great or something, it's like, that's just because you've been socialized to try to be normal or something. Like if you just tap back into like your deeper self, like you are very fascinating. Okay. So I think I've covered all the things I wanted to cover. So I'll go into this practice that you can try. We're going to just do it together here. So if you want to just get in a comfortable seat and kind of just calm yourself, settle down. I'm going to take my glasses off. So this technique is called EFT, or tapping. You can look it up. It's EFT, emotional freedom technique. It's a somatic technique. You can read up all about it, but I found it to be very potent, especially for this kind of thing. So the way it works is we're going to be doing some tapping. We're going to tap on different meridian points, and that is kind of this somatic connection where you're speaking a true statement and kind of reminding your body like what is also true. It's like, I'm feeling social anxiety, but also this is true, and just kind of tapping that into your body on the meridian channels really does something on this somatic level that is kind of crazy, that you can really feel kind of the level shift of, when you're like, social anxiety is like all you can see. It's like kind of levels it out, where it's like, oh, okay, we're okay, So to start, you're going to just kind of tune into whatever emotion you're feeling. This works with any sort of emotional thing. So you can use this at anytime you're like feeling something intense, even if you can't name it, you're just kind of feeling bad. This is a great technique. So you kind of tune into what that feeling is. So we'll do social anxiety. So I'm feeling social anxiety about this event I need to go to tonight. And then you want to give it, this is kind of an important part, you want to give it a numeric quality between 1 and 10. So 10 being like, I can't even see straight, this is so intense, and 0 being, I'm hardly feeling this. So if you're, in the place of doing this, you're probably like, okay, I'm feeling social anxiety about this event, and it's like an 8. So then you want to come up with a statement that doesn't negate the feeling. You want to accept that feeling. I'm feeling social anxiety about this event, and I can love myself no matter what happens tonight. Or I am a beautiful, fascinating person, and I'm doing my best. I like to do a few different things, and you can just have the ones that you do. But if you don't have anything going in, I suggest that you write something that reminds yourself of your self-worth, and that something larger than just this event that you can hold on to. So I'll do this. Feel free to do this with me, and I will say some of these statements, and we'll just do it together. So I'll show you the points that we're going to be tapping. There's the very top of the head. There's the inside of the eyebrow. Also, you can do this on either side. You can do like one whole side and then do the other. It doesn't matter which side you do. Inside of the eyebrow, outside of the eyebrow, right under the eye, between the nose and the lip, under the lip, on the chin, the clavicle, it's kind of like right on the bone, and then kind of just like underarm. This one I feel like is kind of general. You'll kind of feel like a tender spot. Okay, ready? Okay. I may be feeling social anxiety right now, but I have strong boundaries and I can leave this event at any time. I can leave any room at any time. I can leave any conversation at any time. No one has any expectations of me, and if they do, I won't pick them up. No one has any reason to judge me, and if they do, I won't pick that up. That's not mine to deal with, that is theirs. I do love connecting with other people. And no matter what happens, I can love myself no matter what. I may be feeling social anxiety right now, and that's okay. I have very strong boundaries, and I can leave this event at any time. I can leave any room or any conversation at any time. I do love connecting with people. And I love learning about people's stories and connecting with people. I find them fascinating. No matter what happens tonight, I can love myself no matter what. I am a beautiful person. I am fascinating. No one has any expectations of me. And if they do, I won't pick that up. That's not mine to deal with. No one has any reason to judge me, and if they do, I won't pick that up. I can leave any room or any conversation at any time. No matter what happens, I can love myself no matter what. I am a beautiful, fascinating person. I have inherent worth. I love connecting with other people. I find them fascinating. I can leave any room or any conversation at any time. I can go home at any time. No one has any reason to judge me, and if they do, I won't pick that up. That's not mine to deal with. I can love myself no matter what. I am a beautiful person. I am going to this event because I want to connect with other people. I love connecting with others and I find them fascinating. I can leave this event at any time. No one has any expectations of me, and if they do, I won't pick that up. I have strong boundaries and I am safe to connect with others in this event. No matter what happens, I can love myself no matter what. I may be feeling social anxiety right now, and that's okay. I have strong boundaries and I'm totally safe going into the social situation. I can leave any conversation, any room, or the entire event at any time. No one has any expectations of me, and if they do, I won't pick them up. No one has any reason to judge me, and if they do, I won't pick that up. No matter what happens, I can love myself no matter what. I am a beautiful, fascinating person, and I love connecting with other beautiful, fascinating people. I can leave this event or any room or any conversation at any time. No one has any expectations of me, and if they do, I won't pick them up. No one has any reason to judge me, and if they do, I won't pick that up. I am in divine timing, and I will arrive at this event in divine timing. There's no reason to rush or fret. No matter what happens tonight, I will love myself no matter what. I am a beautiful, fascinating person. I love connecting with other beautiful, fascinating people. I have very strong boundaries, which makes it totally safe to connect with others and go to this event. I may be feeling some social anxiety, and that's okay. No matter what happens, I can love myself no matter what. Let's take a deep breath. Let's take another breath. And then if you feel complete, you can stop there, or you can do the other side or do as many rounds as you want. And when you feel finished, you want to check back into that original statement, I feel social anxiety, and see where that number is between 1 and 10. I find that it's almost always a few notches lower, and you kind of can quiet that feeling. It might still be there, but it doesn't have to be the loudest, overwhelming voice. So I hope there was something in here that resonated and helped you out. And thanks for being here. We'll see you another time.